We have one final storyteller this evening. This is Jimenez. He's a 3-year resident of Madeira. He's a 3rd grade teacher at Indian Hill Elementary School, and he's going to talk to us about the journey of his parents in growing up in a non-Hispanic community. His story is entitled The Mexican Circle.
This is definitely an audience I'm not used to. I just want to say thank you guys. What an honor to be a part of this. The 3 storytellers before us being vulnerable. Amazing stories. And I'm sure there's other stories in the crowd that are just as amazing. I'm going to try to do what the Mexican Circle is. It's called telling a story, but it usually takes 30 minutes to an hour. And so in about 5-6 minutes. So it's the way my parents told stories growing up. And I never really appreciated it. My grandparents did it that way too. And I was like, just get to the point already. But as I got older and I get more, back to the culture, I just want to be near it more and I miss it more. I appreciate it now more than ever before. So I do have to say I am one of the luckiest people here. I wasn't even supposed to be part of this, and I'm here, and my parents' story is why I'm so lucky. I feel so grateful for what they've done, their perseverance, their hard work, and I need to tell a little bit of their story to understand why I'm up here. So my mom started out in Ciudad Juarez, right by the border, and she was illegal, and she went over the border in El Paso, and met her first husband, and they moved to New Mexico, had 2 kids, but unfortunately he became an alcoholic, and there was domestic abuse involved, and so she left him. Now my dad's story, and she only went to 5th grade. My dad's story on the other side, he actually grew up with 13 kids on a farm in Jalisco. One of the traditions in Mexico, when you have a family of like rich or wealth, there's called songs corridos. And my dad actually, family was a corrido in Mexico about my dad's family, which I never believed him until I heard it at all. And one day it's playing on the radio, and then sure enough, they're talking about my dad's family. And I'm like, oh my God, this is real. and so sometimes they tell the truth. And he just said, and so we decided, and so he was like number 6 or 7 on the totem pole. He saw what was going to happen. I'm not getting the land. And so he decided to come over. He actually came over twice and got deported both times. And then the 3rd time he actually ended up in Chicago. And so my mom, leaving her first husband, actually left her 2 kids behind in New Mexico with her sister. And she worked on farms, sent money back to her sister to take care of them. As she moved slowly over to Chicago, she met her own sister who happened to be living with my dad in a small apartment, 5 people, just trying to make ends meet. And that's how they actually started dating. Now, a little bit forward, my dad was, again, like I said, the 3rd time, his factory got raided and he was about to get deported for the 3rd time. And she and the manager somehow came up with this crazy idea of like, let's say you're getting married. And for some reason, the judge went along with it. And they had no money. They said they're just saving up money, trying to get married. And my mom sacrificed actually is the reason why I'm here today. They went along with it. It was not one of those courtships. Like, that was a beautiful story. It was one of those sacrifices that my mom made. And from that came my 2 other brothers and myself. So in all, my family there's 5 of us. And we grew up in a little part of Chicago called Humboldt Park, which was probably 90% Hispanic. And the rest 10% was Eastern European. And so to us, that was like home. To them, it was like Mexico all over again. And so they didn't know anything else. They didn't have to simulate. Everything was good. But they knew it was not a great neighborhood to have their kids grow up. So they saved enough money, got us out to the suburbs, little place called Franklin Park by O'Hare. And that's when we realized, wait a minute, there's another world out there. And it was 90% Caucasian and probably 10% Hispanic, but the 10% Hispanic lived in apartments. We were one of the few families that actually had a house in the neighborhood. And that, I would say by 2nd, 3rd grade growing up, that's when I finally realized that I was different than others. And the students with me actually let me know that with their terms that he called me. I would probably, once a week, you would hear something else from the kids there. And like I said, K through 6 building, there was 12 Hispanics in the building. One of those things you didn't realize it till you got older. But in the end, my parents realized that the language of power was English. And so we totally put to the side our Hispanic culture and we rushed to assimilate. And with that, unfortunately, I felt like I was in the middle. At home, I was one person. In public, another person. And so it's called like masking. You kind of get used to it. Or a chameleon. You get used to it after a while. You get good at it. Really good at it. And unfortunately, as you get older, you just hope your kids don't have to do it either. and you hope that they don't have to mask themselves. They don't have to do that. And I feel like moving here to Madeira, my own two daughters don't have to do that. Luckily, I have a wife who embraces my culture at home. She'll help me with Day of the Dead. We'll make a little table and everything. She'll help with tamales. She'll help me with the buñuelos. Anything she's up for. She lets me know that it's okay to share our traditions. My daughters sometimes are a little reluctant because they don't see it as often. But I try to push it because I'm hoping they don't have that resentment like I did. Like I missed out on so many years of that, and so I don't want that for them. I don't want that for them either. And so I just feel lucky to be here in such a great community that has embraced my family, embraced me. I've never felt like, even though I went from one predominantly suburb to this one, I never felt ostracized or different. And so fast forward a little bit, in February, my dad actually got his citizenship finally. And so there's a lot of other holes in that story, but I'm trying to make sure we finish on time. But because of that judge's leniency, my mom's sacrifice, my parents' hard work, I'm proud to say that my sister is an ICU nurse. My oldest brother, he is a police officer. My other brother is a social studies teacher. And my other brother's a PE teacher / English teacher in Arizona. We've all became public servants in some form. And I just think if it wasn't for that judge, if it wasn't for my mom, if it wasn't for the teachers that I had growing up in the community I had, I wouldn't be here. And that's why I still feel like sometimes I'm the luckiest man alive. So thank you guys for listening to my story, and have a great day.